Hey guys, welcome back to Behind the Screen Dungeon Crawl. This is our last part of the series Dungeon Crawl, and it is the Why We're Here video. The goal of the dungeon, why our adventurers have gone here, how they're going to stop whatever they're stopping, like the ends to all of it. And we've got a few tables we're going to roll off of, and we're going to talk a little more about it. If you haven't watched any of the other ones, please go ahead and go back there. There is a two-parter episode in there, so don't get fooled by that one. But just go through and check it out. As always, I'm Dave. This is Jim. That's Crystal. And this is Behind the Screen.
So, we've mapped out the dungeon.
Oh yeah.
We figured out some things inside the dungeon, and we've given you the villain, the big bad at the center of this maze dungeon. But the question on everybody's mind is, why are our adventurers there?
Yeah, why are we here?
You woke up there.
Yeah.
Long night of partying. You know, it was a good night.
Just woke up. You guys
That would be
find your
crazy.
adventure inside of a maze. What?
That would be crazy. Last thing y'all remember, y'all were partying up with some satyrs. And
it's definitely not your typical you guys meet in a tavern. It really is very far from the typical trope. But for sake of a little more originality, we're going to flesh this guy out.
Yeah. All right. So it's a D20.
Sure.
And this is from the DMG Dungeon Master's Guide.
And this is our dungeon goals table.
Yeah.
18.
So the whole goal, the point of why the adventure is there, is to parlay with a villain in the dungeon.
Perfect.
So, what, they're kind of striking a chord?
Yes, that's exactly what a parlay is. Basically getting them to stand down or reach an agreement or find mutual ground. Instead of just going through and murder hoboing everybody, you're trying to connect to the humanity side of this villain and find a common ground.
So my immediate thought is the Order of the Paladins that made this dungeon and trapped this big bad down there.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the magic is keeping him alive.
Yeah.
He cannot die because they don't kill.
Mm.
They won't kill him because maybe it's against their code. So they send the adventurers down to try and reason with him. They do this every century.
Maybe.
They send him down and it's like, hey, try and talk to him. And also kind of ex-nays the murder hobo.
Maybe. But it would also be that maybe the party realizes they don't agree with the Paladin Order and think that this is kind of unjust, and maybe they can see a happy medium in there, like, you know, because he's not exactly evil either. Maybe there's a
That's
way
true.
to make everyone happy, let him go and just stop this. Maybe other people, he lures people down there and they die.
Yeah, maybe they're... This is what?
That's his food.
This is food.
He is an expert cook.
Yes, he is. It has been determined. One of the things that popped in my head was maybe a minion of his on the surface
Yeah.
sends adventurers down.
Yeah, and then they're lured in there in the guise of trying to help this guy, and then it becomes, they realize that the intentions may not be all pure, and it leaves that bit of open-ended question to your party. Do you try to eliminate him? Do you try to parlay with him? I mean, the whole goal is, in the long run, trying to meet that mutual understanding, but is it possible? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they try and they fail, but they end up killing him anyway. As a DM, what repercussions does that have? Does this bad guy dying make the whole maze collapse in on itself?
Yeah.
And the world around it crumbles. This beast dies and just becomes a race to get out. Can they find a way out? Or do they get lost and now they're trapped in there and they die? Or they're trapped in there and they take his place? Like, these are all really big questions and twists and conflicts that you can put together. But the main goal essentially is to parlay with the villain inside this dungeon.
Something else that might be kind of interesting from the DM perspective is that moral quandary.
Yeah.
The moral dilemma.
Yeah.
He is the big bad. Just because he is named or called the big bad just means he is the He's the opposition to the party.
Antagonist.
He's the antagonist. That does not necessarily mean evil.
Nope.
Now, he is chaotic neutral.
Yep.
Chaotic just meaning that he will do whatever it takes. It does not matter. He will kill. He will do whatever. But what if there is a reason to him that is good?
Yeah.
It is, I'm doing this for my family. I need to gain power because back when I originally tried to do this, my clan was under attack. Mm-hmm. And I had to defend my family and my clan.
You made a pact, yeah.
He made a pact. And maybe part of that pact was to do this.
But he couldn't get out.
But then he couldn't get out because
he tried to renege that deal.
Maybe that, yeah.
He was desperate for power. The ends justified the means at the time, but then he couldn't back out.
Yeah.
So it became one messed up thing after another, and then that got the attention of this Order of Paladins.
Yep.
And in order to put an end to it, they didn't want to kill him, but they locked him away.
Right.
And now adventurers come down in the same vein that you were talking about. They sent people down to try and eliminate him. Now your party goes in there to try and understand him.
Right.
Maybe still leads to death or elimination, because obviously he's going to try to kill you or something, or befuddle you, or you guys just don't even get there.
Yeah.
But there's always that hope that the main goal of reaching common ground with this person happens. So that's a big thing too.
Yeah. So the next thing. Okay, so there's some kind of. Okay, so there was a little bit of things right here.
And there's others.
Yeah. So okay. So there's. Well, we're just kind of looking through all this, you know.
The first one.
So how about this? I gotcha. Okay. So the reason they were sent down there was to parlay. But this is actually the adventurer's patron. This is actually kind of the person that sent them down.
Sure.
We were just kind of spitballing originally. This actually is going to be able to tell us.
The person who sends them down there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
So it's a D20.
All right. Let's figure out who sent our group there. That is a 8.
A temple official.
Oh.
Also works with the paladins.
It does. It's very. There were some things on here that could have been really interesting, kind of like a old friend, or a.
That's heartbreaking.
Right, or a mysterious fae.
Fae.
I know you hate fae. I love fae. Fae are so mischievous.
Or fae no.
Fae no.
In lieu of a different word.
Let's see. There could be some other interesting little things right there. So here's the climax.
Sure.
Let's figure out climax.
It's when one person has fun and the other doesn't.
and I just read one and done.
One and done.
Was that really an option?
Yeah.
One and done.
One and done. It's the event-based villain actions. One and done. So the climax of the adventure.
Yes.
D12.
D12. That one. Shaka. The 2.
2. The adventurers chase the villain while dodging obstacles designed to thwart them, leading to a final confrontation in or outside the villain's refuge. So,
perfect, actually.
They might release him. He might get out, and they have to chase him through this dungeon as it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And the final confrontation is outside, where if you followed the other videos, you know he's possibly way more powerful.
And you also
A lot
follow
more
the other
powerful, and he's
videos.
not weak
You know
anymore.
that the entrance to this maze is in a graveyard.
Yes.
So he makes it to the surface.
This could be very interesting. And he, as far as if I do remember correctly, the original goal was to gain power through seizing an army.
Yes.
Yep.
And that was why he was locked up.
Yes.
But if he gets the power of the army.
Yeah, what if he already had it, but needed to be outside to use it? So now you have to stop him within 10 turns. Otherwise, he is raising this army of primordials, of titans, of whatever.
Yeah, and again, the dungeon itself is on the back of a massive gargantuan beast.
Yeah.
So maybe that is his army. Maybe all the graves up above are the army as well. Or maybe that's the army in general. All the people that died, all the paladins in the order, or just heroes. Every hero that's tried has been buried in there.
And all I'm thinking is Fate. Fate, like Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night. It's all these heroic spirits coming back. Ugh.
Under the control of this one guy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that'd be
Because
that
really
that would
felt
be very
really
terrifying.
crazy.
And now all I can think is from our last session of a lizard folk standing like 30, 60 feet away, swinging a sword, just like, whoop, and it just slices a giant's hands off. And this is an NPC, a guy that at one point I was thinking about fighting.
Yes.
And I'm just like, no, never again. I'm not, no. That's, no.
We don't do these
We
things.
don't know. So yeah, so that's the climax of the adventure right there.
Cool.
That's that final peak where you're just like, be all end all.
Yep.
Let's see. So this is more stuff just like if you were just going after a villain outside of the dungeon and stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe if a villain escapes,
Sure.
and your players and you want to continue to a second session, or this may take multiple sessions. Maybe a small mini campaign, you want to wrap it up in 3 sessions.
Sure.
But we can roll out like an event-based goal on for the players on the D20.
Sure.
And this actually kind of has some things that we might have to try and finagle to make fit. Just because there's a wide variety of things on here.
11.
11. Help the villain find redemption.
Actually ties in with the main goal.
Yeah. To come to parlay with him.
Yep.
Come to an accord. And that's pretty much their event-based goals after the him getting out. Maybe he gets out and they convince him somehow to stop. Or maybe he is just so overcome with joy of being out. Or maybe he sees the world has changed.
Mm.
He doesn't even know how much time has passed.
Well, striking the same vein as the very last topic we just had as far as the climax goes. With that event-based goal in the original dungeon goal and that climax, so you now have 2 outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You either parlay with this big bad guy and you try to help him change his ways and find redemption. Boom, boom. Resolution. Or you guys, your players, don't manage to parlay with him and it becomes a scuffle.
A bloodbath.
Then you have the climax goal of them getting out and then possibly summoning this army and being ready and having this big final showdown at the end. So now you have your clash murder hobo-esque and, guns ablazing, only one can triumph, or then you have the diplomatic side. So I think that's really cool, actually, to be able to work this out as something we thought might just be a little peppered in extra stuff, actually tie in really well.
Okay. Now we got a twist.
Sure.
So this is a twist to throw at your players. Now, of course, you don't have to, but who doesn't love a twist? Oh, they can be awesome.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dongs.
I love M. Night Shyamalan.
You do.
It's favorite director.
Dead people all along.
Oh yeah,
I'm not spoiling anything.
yeah. So twist. It's a D10,
Sure.
and there's a couple of things on here that could work really well.
That's a 9.
A 9. Okay, so the adventurers must cooperate with an unknown enemy to achieve the goal.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, with a known enemy, not unknown. A known.
known.
Enemy.
Also ties to it.
So they have to work with a known enemy. Now, do you throw that into the party and be like make them go down there, start the adventure with the known enemy, making the known enemy a PC?
You
Or do you
could.
make an NPC that you play with that eventually is going to stab them in the back?
It could also have been where we talked about it earlier with the main bad guy just wandering around the maze.
Yeah.
Helps the party out.
Without them knowing that he's the bad
And
guy.
then betray.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
That could be a good plot twist.
So that's the twist, and that's it. That's really everything you need as far as the bones and some of those flesh, now you got to fill it with organs and blood.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could take a lot of time and do your monsters, traps, other NPCs, what kind of items are being there, and these, that, and the other. But that requires mapping out the size of the dungeon. Since that's not really the premise of this series, and I'm sure there will be one where we really map something out as far as like size and like that, but that's just not the goal here. The goal here is to give you some framework and maybe get those creative juices flowing to where you can sit down with a group of people and do a one-shot and just dungeon crawl. But hopefully this helps. Hopefully you really enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe all below. Follow us here. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dave. That's Jim. That's Crystal. The camera's backwards. And this has been a look behind the screen.
All right, guys. Till next time, take it easy.